Hi, Steve. Thanks so much for joining me today. It's obviously a great time to catch up on what Caledonia Mining has been busy with at its blanket mine in Zimbabwe. But before we get into that, can you tell me what has your attention today that will deliver results in the long term?
Sure, Chantelle, nice to chat again. Chantelle, obviously our immediate and short-term focus is getting the Central Shaft project completed. We've continued operating through COVID, so we're confident that we know how to do that. We are coming to the end of the equipping stage on the Central Shaft, and then we will go into the commissioning stage. And our indications now is that we'll finish the equipping in Q4. We'll go into commissioning and we will have that done by the end of Q1. And then there will be a gradual ramp up of gold production in 2021. And then we'll hit our new run rate of 80,000 ounces by 2022. So that's the immediate focus. We're operating in a good gold environment, higher price, but there are some consequences of COVID. And we want to capitalize on the good gold price and the rising gold production. Simultaneously, over the last couple of years, we've been looking at new opportunities after the Blanket project is completed, so that we can expand our portfolio from a single asset to hopefully multi-asset opportunities, and very focused in Zimbabwe because we still see it as a very good gold frontier, and it's on our doorstep. We're comfortable operating there. We know how to operate there, and we've got the team and the people who can get in and out of Zim. So that's where we are. We got some short-term goals and we've got some longer-term goals. So it's very exciting.
Great. Before we get into the specifics of Blanket Mine, can you tell me how COVID-19 has had an impact on the business and how it's possibly changed the way you are doing business going forward?
Well, in end of March, early April, the actual lockdowns came in South Africa and in Zimbabwe, and that had some implications for our supply chains. We have learned to work with the restraints of social distancing and border crossings that are imposed by countries to protect their citizens. I'm very pleased to say that we don't have any restrictions on the movement of materials that we need at the mine, but we did have some difficulty in getting certain specialist people skills up to the mine, especially during this period of equipping the shaft. And what we've had to do is remotely work with the authorities in Zimbabwe, who have been very, very helpful in getting the necessary permits to be able to move the experts onto the site. We've had to establish our own quarantine site on the mine with the approval of the Ministry of Health. And, it's those additional layers of responsibility that we've had to put on top of our business while we've been continuing to operate a gold mine. And then I think most importantly for our own staff at the mine, who have had to subject themselves to sort of movement restrictions. We are 15 odd kilometers outside of the town of Gwanda, so we are a bit isolated, but obviously people want to go into town. So we've had to learn to operate with restricted movement of people. And rather having people going away to do things, we've had to bring services to the mine, and that's shown us that we can adapt quite quickly. We've also had to look at the broader community around us and the needs of the people outside of the perimeter fence of Blanket, and we're pleased that we've been able to make donations via the Chamber of Mines in Zimbabwe to assist with the establishment of medical facilities and resources like ventilator machines, and that's been very well run. We've done a lot. Our people have had to endure a lot, but we've had very little interruption, and we're comfortable that we've learned how to operate inside of a COVID pandemic.
Great, Steve. Now delving a little bit further into the Blanket Gold Mine, can you tell me a bit more about the operation and what's really been taking place on site? And then also the progress of your Central Shaft project, please.
Sure. So we weren't looking for anything spectacular in terms of gold production in 2020, although we still had over $20 million to spend on CapEx, which we had to earn at the mine. So our target, which we had announced earlier on in the year, of 53 to 56,000 ounces of gold production for the year, that was our goal, to ensure that we had correct cash flows. Obviously, the higher gold price has helped us, and that's made us even more secure. But we have just recently announced in a production update at the end of Q3 that we are increasing our guidance to 55 to 58,000 ounces, which is indicative of the fact that the mine is producing well. So all the on-mine activities are going well. Grade control is good. The tons, the development, all of that is tracking according to plan and a bit above plan. So we're very pleased that we were able to increase our guidance. I've chatted about the Central Shaft. And yeah, that is very much work in progress. We'll get that done this year, and then we will start the heavy lifting, really, of commissioning and learning how to operate a very new strategic piece of infrastructure that allows us to go very much deeper at the mine, and then it's off to the races. The guys can continue to effectively build the new mine underneath the existing mine, and we'll be able to ramp up that production for the benefit of shareholders, and according to current reserves and resources, that will be our run rate for the next 13 or 14 years.
Okay, and then my last question to you today, Steve. What advice do you have for juniors wishing to develop projects in Africa, and specifically in Southern Africa and Zimbabwe at this time?
Well, I think a lesson we've learned is you must work very, very hard on the things that you can control. There are things that are just out of our control. Gold price, the immediate operating environment, and COVID has taught us that you never know what is going to come around the corner. So be diligent about what you can control, and that probably comes down to cost, personnel, training, safety. Never take your eye off those aspects at all. Make sure that the basics that you do in the operation are fine-tuned, and make sure that you can weather a really tough storm. We were very pleased that we went into the lockdown period and the beginning of the COVID pandemic absolutely debt-free. So although it was nervous times, we never knew whether we were going to have to shut down if we got an infection on the mine or multiple infections on the mine. But being a master of your own destiny, and not beholden where you are maybe exceeding your own personal or business capacities in terms of funding. Cut your cloth accordingly, I would say to people. Learn to walk before you run, and be a master of your own destinies, because it makes you sleep a lot better at night, knowing that you can speed up or slow down at your own behest rather than somebody else. So yeah, take it easy, stick to the basics, get that right. But COVID has taught us safety is not just an aspect of mining. It's holistic. So safety just comes down to the whole aspect of doing business with your staff, with their families who live on the property. A healthy workforce is worth an enormous amount to a business.
Great, thanks for your time and your insights today, Steve. It was really great getting an update on the ongoing work in Zimbabwe, and I no doubt look forward to the future progress and project updates with regards to the Central Shelf project. Thanks again.
Thanks, Chantelle.